13 free hacks to make you 99.9% more disciplined. There's a silent war happening in your life right now, and the enemy isn't your job, your past, or your lack of motivation. It's how you start your mornings, what fills your phone, and who you let sit at your table. The truth is, most people aren't undisciplined. They're overstimulated, underfocused, and drowning in choices that don't matter. They've been lied to, told that discipline is for the elite, the superhuman, the obsessive. But here's the twist: you don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. And that starts with how you design your day. What if I told you the difference between a $100 million empire and a stuck, stagnant life isn't talent, it's strategy? And better yet, what if I handed you 13 battlefield-tested hacks that require $0, but give you back your time, energy, and self-respect? You don't need more apps. You need a system. You don't need another planner. You need clarity. And you don't need a miracle. You need this video. Because by the end of it, you won't just be more disciplined. You'll be dangerously focused, ruthlessly intentional, and finally in control of your life. Let's begin. Cancel your morning alarm. Snoozing sends the wrong signal to your brain. Go to bed early so you naturally wake up. Set a bedtime alarm, not a wake-up one. In the early hours, before the sun even stretches over the horizon, there is a moment, quiet, sacred, when the world is still asleep, but the mind is ready to conquer. That moment is not meant to be snoozed. Each time you hit that snooze button, you're not just delaying your wake-up, you're telling your subconscious, my dreams can wait. But here's the truth: they won't. Success favors those who rise with intention. Discipline doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with canceling the alarm and mastering the art of going to bed early, in sync with your body's natural rhythm. You see, the real power lies in the night before. Imagine this: you set an alarm not for the morning, but for your bedtime, 9:30 p.m. sharp. That single habit, done consistently, sends a command to your mind that rest is a weapon, not a weakness. It transforms the morning into a silent partner of progress. No blaring alarm needed. The body, when honored, wakes up on its own, sharp, rested, and relentless. That's the rhythm of the greats. That's the invisible current of success few ever talk about. Want to feel unstoppable at 5 a.m.? Start winding down at 8:30 p.m. Read, stretch, reflect. Guard that nighttime routine like a sacred ritual. And here's where most fail: they chase morning productivity without protecting evening decisions. But discipline doesn't begin when the sun rises. It begins when the notifications are silenced, the screens are off, and the commitment to a controlled environment is sealed. If you can master the night, the day will never defeat you. And once your mornings become effortless, what's stopping you from transforming how you spend your time after you rise? Upgrade your TV to a library. Trade screen time for reading time. Invest heavily in books and learning. Educate yourself without being forced. There's a silent tragedy unfolding in living rooms around the world. Massive televisions glowing bright, while minds remain dim. The bigger the TV, the smaller the dreams. But imagine if you swapped that screen for shelves. Rows of books whispering wisdom, answers, and strategies. A man or woman who commits to continuous learning, who treats their library like a temple, is building an empire one page at a time. Not because they have to, but because they choose to invest in knowledge instead of distractions. You don't need a classroom to become powerful. You need curiosity and a quiet room. You want to become irreplaceable? Read Think and Grow Rich, The Laws of Success, Atomic Habits, Deep Work, or even The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. These aren't just books, they are weapons in a world of noise. Every chapter you consume arms you against fear, ignorance, and failure. The wealthiest minds on the planet still read daily, while many scroll endlessly through meaningless content, robbing themselves of clarity. It's not about quitting TV completely, it's about choosing your programming. Will you feed your mind junk, Or will you elevate it with wisdom? That choice becomes your identity. Make your environment match your ambition. Take 15 minutes today to clear space on your shelf and remove the temptation from your walls. When your home feels like a library, your life starts to reflect a mind trained for clarity, planning, and deep focus. And the best part? Once your mind is sharp, you'll start to notice all the ways that notifications and noise have been stealing from you all along. Turn off all notifications. Distractions equals dream killers. Use Do Not Disturb. Schedule check-ins. Only let important people reach you directly. Discipline isn't destroyed by failure. It's destroyed by distraction. A single ping, a vibration, a red bubble blinking on your phone, and just like that, your focus is stolen, your vision blurred. These constant interruptions aren't harmless. They're engineered by some of the smartest minds in Silicon Valley to hijack your attention and rewire your brain for dopamine addiction. But here's the truth they won't tell you. You can break free. You can take back your time, your mind, and your life by declaring war on the very things silently stealing it. Notifications. Start small. Open your phone. Turn off every single notification except from the 1 to 2 people who truly matter. Maybe your spouse, your kids, your assistant. Everyone else? Silence them. Then, flip the switch on Do Not Disturb during your peak productivity hours. Your deep work, the real, hard, money-making, life-changing stuff, doesn't live in a chat bubble or an inbox. Schedule when you check messages. Let the world wait. Because while they're busy reacting, you're busy building. Your phone should feel like a tool, not a trap. And when your environment is controlled, your mind becomes a fortress. Try this. Block out 2 hours tomorrow with no phone, no email, no interruptions. Just you and your mission. You'll feel an almost spiritual clarity, the kind that reminds you why you started this journey. And just when you think you've mastered your inner world, you'll start to realize your outer world, especially your algorithm, might need just as much attention. Hack your algorithm. Curate your social feed to inspire and educate. Unfollow and mute distractions. Use platforms like TikTok as mini universities. You open your phone. Swipe once. Scroll twice. Suddenly, 20 minutes vanish. And for what? A meme, a half-baked opinion, a trend gone tomorrow? You didn't lose time. It was taken. Not by chance, but by design. But here's the kicker. The same algorithm that can destroy your focus can also build your future if you know how to hack it. That's right, you control the feed. And what you feed your mind becomes your life. Most people treat their social media like junk food. Tasty, easy, and toxic in excess. But what if your TikTok became a training ground? What if your Instagram taught you marketing? What if your YouTube recommended only content that educates and uplifts? It starts with curation. Unfollow gossip. Mute drama. Like what you want more of: AI, finance, mindset, leadership, philosophy. The algorithm's only job is to mirror you. Show it who you are becoming. Try this tonight. Spend 10 minutes cleaning your feed. Replace 3 influencers with 3 teachers. Swap noise for strategy. That's how the algorithm becomes your ally. Because once your digital space becomes sacred, your mental space begins to mirror that clarity. And when your input is intentional, your output becomes extraordinary. But you'll need one more thing to keep this momentum. Something ancient, powerful, and often forgotten: the written checklist. Master your list. Create systems and checklists for everything. Offload your brain clarity plus productivity. Sequence your to-dos for max momentum. Success doesn't come to those who work the hardest. It comes to those who know exactly what to work on, and in what order. The mind is a brilliant machine, but it's not meant for storage. It's meant for strategy. That's where the power of a checklist comes in. It may sound simple, even boring. But behind every thriving entrepreneur, every high performer, there's a system, a repeatable, optimized, and battle-tested list that clears the mental fog and sharpens clarity like a blade. The best part? It's not just about productivity, it's about peace. When your tasks are captured on paper or digital planners like Notion or Todoist, you free your brain to think creatively instead of constantly remembering what not to forget. Start small. List your morning habits, your weekly routines, even your travel prep. Then sequence them. What's the first domino? What has the highest return on energy? That clarity creates momentum. Momentum builds consistency. And consistency creates identity. Eventually, your list stops being a to-do. It becomes a framework for your discipline. That's when magic happens. You don't wake up lost. You don't react to the day, you lead it. This structure gives you the power to not only move fast, but move with purpose. And once you start stacking the right systems together, you'll realize the next secret of the ultra-disciplined. They don't just have habits, they stack them like bricks. Stack your habits. Start small, lock in one habit at a time. Stack new habits onto existing ones. Identity level change. Most people try to change their lives overnight. New diet, new job, new routine, and by Friday, they're back to square one, drained and defeated. Why? Because transformation doesn't happen all at once. It happens one brick at a time, stacked carefully on the foundation of what already works. The secret? Don't create new time. Use existing time. Want to start meditating? Attach it to your morning coffee. Trying to build a reading habit? Leave the book beside your pillow or your toothbrush. That's habit stacking, and it works because it's natural. Our brains love routine. When one action follows another, consistently, it becomes a rhythm, and rhythm becomes identity. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth, right? That's how "I should go to the gym" turns into "I am someone who trains daily." That's how "I want to read more" becomes "I'm a reader." Discipline becomes effortless once the habit becomes who you are. So instead of chasing 10 changes, master one, then stack the next one on top like Lego bricks of self-mastery. This isn't theory. It's how the most disciplined people in the world operate. They build slowly, but they never stop building. And as your habits stack higher, you begin to notice something strange. Your energy shifts. You crave growth. You crave motion. And soon, you start craving something else too. Not just private discipline, but public accountability. A force outside yourself that makes it impossible to quit without consequence. Commit to someone. Accountability equals motivation. Make public or painful commitments. People show up more for others than for themselves. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We break promises to ourselves way more often than we break them to others. You'll skip a workout if it's just you. But skip on a friend who shifted their entire schedule for you? Unthinkable. That's the power of external accountability. It taps into our deepest wiring, the need to be seen, to be reliable, to be respected. If you want to make something non-negotiable, make it public. Tell a friend. Post it. Promise your partner. Suddenly, discipline isn't optional. It's social currency. You want to write a book? Tell your audience. Want to film every day? Make a pact. I once coached an entrepreneur who committed to producing 2 videos a day or else run a marathon, untrained. He hasn't missed a day in months. Not because he's superhuman, but because he stacked pressure in the right place. Discipline isn't always about more willpower. It's about creating stakes. That's why hiring a coach, joining a mastermind, or even just texting your goals to someone you trust can change everything. So ask yourself, who are you accountable to? If the answer is no one, you're playing on easy mode, and easy mode rarely leads to greatness. Find someone who believes in your vision and let them in. Give them permission to hold you to your word. Because when your goals are no longer private, your actions start to reflect who you said you would become. And soon, you'll realize that for some goals, it's not your willpower that needs to be stronger. It's your environment. Clean out your pantry. Your environment beats willpower. Remove temptations. Make good choices the only choices. Willpower is overrated. The strongest people aren't the ones who resist temptation. They're the ones who remove it completely. It's easier to stay focused when your environment doesn't offer a way out. Want to eat clean? Don't just try to eat better. Clean out your pantry. Toss the cookies. Donate the junk. Replace it with fruit, protein, and real fuel. This isn't about being perfect. It's about making the right choices easier, because they're the only options around. This principle extends far beyond food. Want to reduce screen time? Delete the apps. Hide your gaming console. Use blockers like Cold Turkey or Freedom on your laptop. Want to stop mindlessly scrolling? Move your social media apps to your computer, not your phone. You're not weak. Your environment isn't working for you. Design your space like it belongs to someone who's already living your goals. Because when the fridge, the desk, the phone, the space, all align with your mission, discipline becomes natural. Let your space speak for your standards. Take one afternoon to purge distractions. Uninstall, unplug, declutter. Your clarity, your focus, your energy, they all multiply when temptation is out of reach. And once your physical space reflects your mental goals, you'll find it easier to keep moving forward. But if you really want to lock in that progress, you'll need to set up one more piece of the puzzle, a consequence so strong that failure no longer feels like an option. Make failure painful. Pay for coaching, commit money to your goals. Add stakes. Fear of pain fuels follow-through. We are wired to avoid pain more than we're wired to chase reward. That's not a flaw, it's survival. But you can use it to your advantage. When you attach real consequences to failure, something powerful happens. Your brain goes into overdrive to avoid that outcome. I've seen people stick to a goal they failed at for years, all because they finally had money, reputation, or comfort on the line. When I hired my first coach, I couldn't afford him. That's exactly why it worked. The cost made me pay attention. You don't need a fancy program to feel the pressure. You just need to raise the stakes. Declare your goal, then make a bet. Miss the gym 3 times? Donate to an organization you hate. Break your writing streak? Post your failure publicly. That sting, that embarrassment, that regret, becomes fuel. Not toxic shame, but strategic pressure. It's the payment up front that gets your brain emotionally invested. People will do more to avoid looking foolish than they will to chase vague success. So what pain are you avoiding? And are you using it as leverage? Most people leave this tool in the shadows, but high performers pull it into the light. When the discomfort of quitting outweighs the discomfort of showing up, your behavior changes instantly. And just as that pressure builds, so does the need to aim your effort at the right task, the biggest, most important one. First, start with the big domino. Tackle the hardest, most valuable task first. Don't get stuck doing easy things. Protect your best mental energy. Every day begins with a choice. Will you do what's urgent, or will you do what's important? The difference defines your future. Most people spend their mornings reacting, checking emails, scrolling, doing low-effort tasks. But the elite? They start with the big domino, that one task that, if knocked down, makes the rest fall into place. It's not always fun. It's rarely easy. But it's always the thing that moves your life forward faster than anything else. Your brain's best energy is early in the day, when your willpower is strongest and the world is quiet. Use that window wisely. If you're building a business, maybe it's cold outreach. If you're in school, Maybe it's studying the toughest subject first. Whatever it is, it's the thing you keep avoiding. And it's probably the exact thing you need to face. The hard thing you've been pushing aside? That's the one that holds the key to your next breakthrough. Now, here's where it gets fun. When you start your day like that, the rest feels light, easy. You build momentum. You begin to trust yourself. Suddenly, checking small tasks off a list feels like dessert after the main course. But none of that's possible if your brain is cluttered with decision fatigue. Which is why, after facing the big domino, it's time to go even deeper, by deleting the decisions that never deserved your attention in the first place. Delete useless decisions. Simplify life. Same clothes, meals, routines. Save cognitive energy. Decide once, then focus on what matters. Success doesn't belong to the busiest person in the room. It belongs to the one who thinks the clearest. And clarity isn't a gift. It's created by eliminating the clutter. Every small decision you make, what to wear, what to eat, when to work, drains your mental battery. That's why the highest performers simplify everything. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. So does Zuckerberg. Why? Because they decided once and moved on to bigger problems. This isn't about being robotic. It's about being deliberate. You don't need to wear only black t-shirts, but you could rotate 3 go-to outfits that make you feel sharp. You could meal prep the same high-protein lunch 5 days a week. You could build a morning routine that never changes. The point isn't perfection. It's predictability. When your life runs on automatic rhythms, your mind is freed to focus on vision, strategy, and creativity. Start small. Look at your week. What decisions keep repeating that you could systematize or eliminate? Is it scheduling workouts? Grocery shopping? Responding to emails? Automate them. Outsource them. Batch them. Because the more space you clear in your mind, the more clarity you have to pursue the life you say you want. And when your brain finally feels light and focused, you'll start to notice something. Even your relationships begin to shift, and suddenly, who you spend time with matters more than ever. Find disciplined friends. You're the average of your 5 influences. Audit your circle. Surround yourself with those who live your future. You can't grow into your future while holding hands with your past. Harsh, maybe, but true. If your circle laughs at discipline, mocks ambition, or treats your dreams like fantasies, it's time for a friend audit. You become like the people you're around, whether you notice or not. Their habits, their mindset, even their daily choices, they slowly rub off on you. That's why success isn't just about what you do. It's about who you're doing life with. Take inventory. Do the people closest to you value progress? Do they track their habits, pursue clarity, eat clean, show up early, keep promises? Or do they live on autopilot, reacting, complaining, wasting hours on things that don't matter? This isn't about judgment, it's about alignment. Your time is too precious to spend with people who don't push you forward. You can love some people from a distance. And you can actively choose new influences, podcasts, mentors, books, that pull you into your future. Here's a challenge. Reach out to one person this week who's ahead of you in life. Buy them lunch. Ask them questions. Let them challenge your thinking. Discipline is contagious, but only when you're exposed to it often enough. And when your environment includes people who sharpen you, hold you accountable, and celebrate your wins, something incredible happens. You stop negotiating with your goals and start living like they're already yours. But even then, you'll need one more piece to seal the transformation. A vision so clear, it becomes impossible to ignore. Visualize your goals. Review your top goals 3x daily. Check your time and money against your goals. Use the rule of 300, 100% clarity, 100% belief, 100% consistency. A goal you don't see often is a goal you forget. And a forgotten goal is a dead one. That's why the world's most successful people don't just set goals, they live inside them. They review them in the morning, at lunch, and before bed. 3 times a day. Not by accident, but by design. This is how you program your mind to believe, to act, and to attract the very life you're building. Clarity isn't optional. It's the starting point of destiny. So, what are your 12 power goals for the year? Write them down. Put them on your mirror. Set reminders on your phone. If your calendar and bank account don't reflect those goals, you've got a misalignment. And misalignment always creates friction. The rule of 300 says it best. You need 100% clarity, 100% belief, and 100% consistency. All at once. That's what turns a wish into a force of nature. Don't just think about the dream. Go sit in it, touch it, test drive it. Make it real in your senses so it becomes real in your life. Discipline, then, is no longer about grit, it becomes about alignment. When your energy is moving in one direction, toward one vivid destination, you stop needing motivation. You simply become the person who does the work. Your vision pulls you. Your identity shifts. Your habits hold. And suddenly, you're not chasing the dream. You're living it. But all of that starts with a decision. Will you lead your mind, or let the world lead it for you? Now you've seen it. Not fluff, not motivation that fades by morning, but the exact blueprint to build a life of unshakable discipline, from the ground up, without spending a single dollar. But here's the real question. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to scroll to the next video and pretend this never happened? Or are you going to cancel the alarm, clear your notifications, clean your environment, and finally commit to the version of you that's been waiting to emerge? Because let me tell you something. You're not tired, you're just distracted. You don't need more time. You need better systems, a clearer vision, and maybe, just maybe, a little pain if you don't follow through. So I want to know, which of these 13 hacks hit you the hardest? Which one are you applying today? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. If you're serious about mastering your focus, energy, and potential, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay close. Because this channel is for the few, the doers, the builders, the relentless. And you're one of us now.